Yeah, it is started recording.
Started, right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, hi all. Hello everyone. Welcome to another awesome session with SUGCBE. Just a quick intro about SUGCBE. SUGCBE is based on Coimbatore. It was founded by Prabhu, a technical architect with over a decade years of experience in software development, and I, Gautam, who is a senior software engineer with 9+ years of experience, and Vignesh, a software engineer with over 8+ years of experience in the field. And we three are Sitecore certified and Sitecore MEP for 2023. And today we are excited to have next session. Slide, please. Yeah. Today we are excited to have Nikita and Shreyansh as our speakers, and they'll be diving into the mastering on the topic of mastering XM Cloud Forms and new capabilities. And yeah, stage is yours, Nikita and Shreyansh.
Okay, what to
Nikita?
Nikita and Shreyas, you can go ahead and get started, please.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
So, yeah. Good evening, everyone. Our topic of presentation is mastering XM Cloud with new capabilities. Firstly, I would like to thank the team for organizing it. Thank you, SCG Coimbatore, for organizing this presentation for us. So let us brief about ourselves. My name is Nikita Vashisht. I'm working as a technical lead in Extentia Information Technology. I'm certified in XP version 9 and 10. Apart from that, I have also done my certification in CDP and XM Cloud. I keep on contributing to the community. I have my own website where I write technical blogs related to Sitecore topics. Shreyansh, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Thank you. I'm Shreyansh, currently working as a senior software professional at Extentia. I am Sitecore 10 and XM Cloud certified. So the agenda for today's session would revolve around the key topics that we've prepared, how the forms journey has evolved since Sitecore 8, 9, and then now XM Cloud. And then we'll introduce what is XM Cloud, the key features of XM Cloud, what are the new updates that Sitecore have been doing in XM Cloud since their first release, steps of creating a form in XM Cloud, and then a demo showcasing all those points that we are going to discuss. Earlier versions of Sitecore, we had in Sitecore 8 or earlier versions, we had Sitecore WFFM, wherein we need to install the WFFM module, a package was installed, and then we were able to create forms. Then since Sitecore 9, Sitecore introduced Sitecore forms. Then from 9.2, they completely removed the support for WFFM. And now, since we have XM Cloud, they've also released the product for XM Cloud, that's XM Cloud Forms. These three journeys of these three forms from WFFM to Sitecore and now XM Cloud. This is the latest stage where we are in. So XM Cloud is XM Cloud Forms. It's also a cloud-based form solution that Sitecore has provided. It comes with your XM Cloud license, as it comes with your XM Cloud subscription. You can easily integrate your forms just like any other component on your web page. In case you want to write any custom logics upon your form submissions, or you want to perform any operations like sending emails or saving the data into your database, you can do all of that using webhooks. So that is one feature that Sitecore has introduced. and then you need JSS version 21.6 or later to utilize the capabilities of Sitecore XM Cloud Forms. So as the name suggests, it's a XM Cloud. It's a SaaS-based solution that I already told. So key features that have been introduced in XM Cloud Forms, they've introduced the form dashboard where you can easily create your forms, review your forms. You can easily, let's say you have multiple forms, you can easily activate all the forms that you want or delete all the forms that you want. You can group all your forms into a specific label. Let's say I have 3 forms that caters for contact us. I have 2 forms that contacts for subscribe now. So we can add all those labels to our form. And on the forms dashboard, which we'll see subsequently on the demo, there are options where you can filter your forms based on the name, where you can filter your form based on the label, or whether they're active or deactive or inactive. The layout concept is also introduced, wherein, let's say I want to create a form, whether I want it a full width container or a 2-column splitter or a 2:3 column splitter, we can effectively use all those out of the box features that Sitecore have introduced in their XM Cloud Forms. You can easily drag and drop your forms as a component, easily integrate it across your pages. And let's say I am working on my forms, I want to undo a functionality that I've just done. You can revert back your changes, or you can again do those changes with the click of a button. And they've also added versioning to the forms. Just like Sitecore items have version, forms also have version. In case there are multiple developers working or you want to revert back to your previous version, you can effectively do all of that. So each form will have one of the 3 status. It might be a draft status wherein you are making your changes, you added the webhook. You can be in the development state. That means it will be in the draft state. So each form will have a webhook attached to it. Once you have the webhook attached to your form, it come and the form is not live. That comes in the inactive state. And once your form is published and it is live, it comes in the active state. Webhooks, like I told, you can create your webhook, and in case you want to post any data, Sitecore does not have experience. I mean, earlier Sitecore forms had forms database where you would save all your data, but here, since there is no Sitecore forms database and you want to capture your data or you want to store your data, you can use the concept of webhooks. We'll be showcasing all of this in the demo. Then template library, out of the box Sitecore provides multiple templates of forms. Let's say I want to create a contact us form. There is already a form available out of the box. So in case you want to use that form, you can make use of that form. And in case you want to do a bit of modification over it, you might be able to do it as well. And you can also create your own forms. You can save them as templates and then subsequently use those forms for further development. And you have the flexibility of adding your stylings, your validations on your fields. You can also add global stylings on your forms. And before publishing your form, you can preview them. It will give you a simulator view how it would look across multiple devices, and you can verify your functionality as well. Like, Nikita, you can.
Updates. So we all know that forms have been launched in this year in January. So post-launch, there were multiple features that were introduced. So let's talk about one by one. So the first one was editing active forms. So now we have a privilege of editing active forms. So once your form is active, we have an option to edit that. We can make our changes, whatever changes we want, and then post your changes. You can post your changes again, and automatically all the changes that you have done will be applied to all the live instances of that form. Then archiving a form. So now when we go to the forms dashboard, we have buttons to archive and unarchive our forms. So to maintain our forms or to organize it on a dashboard. So let's say we have a brand with multiple forms and there are few of them that are no longer in use. So we can easily archive it to have the visibility of what we are working on and what are the currently active forms that we have. Then we can send custom text to your webhooks. So now for fields like multi-select, radio button and checkbox, we have a feasibility of adding a custom text. So now what it does is we can, supposedly we have an optional field where we are giving 3 options, say yes, no, we don't know. So we can have a custom value for that and that can be transmitted via webhooks, and that specific custom value we can use via our APIs or whatever submit action we need to perform for that specific form. So the custom value that we are setting up, that will not be visible for the users, but then it can be used in our backend implementation. Then we can create and apply styles to your forms. So as Shreyansh mentioned, we have a feasibility of creating a global styling. So now if we have a brand and under that brand, we have supposedly 5 forms which share the same theming. So rather than creating a form and adding field level theming or styling every time on each form, we can create a global styling and we can plug in that styling in our settings option, and whatever styling that we have configured for that specific form will be applied at once. So I'll show you in the demo how we can do this step. Then we have an option to add file upload. So now in our form, if we want to attach a file, or if we want a user to attach some documentations, so we have a file upload option. So we can easily drag and drop that option in our form. So what all we can configure in our upload item option. First is the file format. We can specify which all file formats our field can accept. Second is the number of files that can be attached. And third is the size of the file that the user can attach. Then sixth, and one of the most important feature that was launched was to add conditional logic. So if we are making forms and we have to show or hide any of the specific fields basis on the condition. So supposedly we have to populate cities on the basis of countries. So earlier it was not a possibility to show conditional logic, but now we can very easily do that. Or if we want to show the email field, if the user has subscribed to the newsletter. So all of these conditions can now be handled using the logic stack. Another feature that has been added is to add the images from the media library. So earlier we were not having the option to upload the media in our forms using the media library, but now with the updates, they have also given that privilege. Now let's talk about the workflow, how the form is being created, what are the steps of creating a form in XM Cloud. So firstly, if whatever the design that you have for your form, you'll create that, you'll choose your layout, you'll add all your fields using the drag and drop option. So the form builder that XM Cloud provides is a Canva-based tool. So you can easily plug in all your components. You can specify the general settings, configurations. You can specify the field level validations and styling. So once your form is created, you design your form as per your need, whatever styling you need. You can create a global styling. Once your styling and form is being created, a form cannot be used or a user cannot fill that form, or no action can be performed if the webhook is not being added. So once all your form is ready, you attach a webhook to it and you can preview your form whether it's working fine or not. We have an option of previewing it. And then post your flow is working as expected, you can activate your form. So let's move to demo now. So now this is my cloud portal. I'll go to my tools option. Over here, I can see the option of creating a form. So I have my forms option. I'll click on this. So once I click on this, my forms dashboard will appear. So let's talk about a few features over here. So as you can see, we have different filtering options. So we can filter on the basis of 3 different statuses: draft, active, and inactive. Then we can also filter it via labels. So we can attach labels to our forms. Now, as I mentioned, we have an option of archiving the forms. So we have these toggle buttons. So we can easily check what all forms that we have archived. So how we can archive a form, you can simply click on these 3 dots and we have an option of archiving it. So once you archive this and you'll go to the archived option, you will see the form that you have added. Now how you can perform bulk operations. So once you'll click on this above icon, here you can see all the bulk updates that we can perform. So we can activate multiple forms at once. So whatever forms that you want to activate, you can click on this. Then we can add labels. So now if I have to add a common label, say forms general, I can add that, and that specific label will be added to all my forms. So that's how you can perform multiple operations at once. Now, how you create a form? You will click on this create form option. So supposedly if I want to create a feedback form, I'll give the name, I'll save this. So now the forms builder will appear. Over here, we have like on my left hand side, I can see different layout options that are being available. So whatever layout, however I want my page or my form structure to be, I can select that specific layout. So we have multiple options. Then in items option, we have different fields that we can simply drag and drop and add or create our forms. Then we have the options field. Over here, it's a general settings field. We can define the border color, whatever border color that we want, or different stylings or validations we can add. Then there is a validation messages. So these are pre-configured with XM Cloud Forms. So even if you want to change the messaging, we can edit these. Then we have different styling options for all the fields. So whatever changes that you need to do for your forms, you can simply add it over here. So now let's create a form. I'll select a full width. So over here, I can see this plus icon. When you click on that, you can either add your items from here, or you can simply drag and drop from here as well. So supposedly if I want a full name text, I'll add a long text field. I'll click on this, and on my right hand side, a dialog box will be open. Here we can configure all of my settings for that specific field. So now if I want to change the label, I'll change it to full name. Now I can add a placeholder. So I'll change it to full name only. Now I can add a help text, but as of now I don't need it, so I will remove it. But if you need for a specific field, you can add that. Now I will make this field as a required field. Another option that we have is to create a hidden field. So if I want a hidden field in my form, I'll simply check this option up and I can give a pre-fill value. So whatever pre-fill value that you will be giving, that value will be sent via webhooks. This field will not be available for the users to see it in the front end, but then that can be transmitted via webhooks. So as of now, I don't need this field to be hidden, so I'll make it as required field. Then I can specify the character limit. So I want it to be 100 only. Then you can specify field style, label style. So we have different options for all of them. So supposedly if I want my label to be in blue color, I can do that very easily. So all of these things can be configured. Now I'll add a field for the feedback. So similarly, I can, one more thing is this name field. So what does this name field do is, whatever data that we are transmitting via webhook, how we are mapping each field data, it is being recognized by the name that is being present over here. So to understand what all data that we are sending in our payload, I will rename it for my reference. So I'll give it as full name. Similarly, for my long text here, I will change the label as give your feedback. I'll enter right feedback. I don't need the help text. I'll mark this also as a required field. I'll change the label font color. So now I have created one page. So now we have option of creating multi-page also. So at Nax, we can create 10-page form in XM Cloud Forms. So how you create a multi-page form is to click on add pages. So when you have clicked on add pages, you can see the navigations buttons have already been added. So now to navigate back and forth to multiple pages, this is being already added by XM Cloud Forms itself, the next and the back button. So now I'll add other field in my next page. So I want a radio button, say. I'll add this over here. I'll change the name to subscribe value. I'll give the label as want to subscribe to a newsletter. I'll remove the help text. I'll make this field as required, and I can specify my options. So as I told you, now we have an option of sending custom value. So how you do it is you switch on this custom value option. So we can specify the options that we want to give and corresponding custom values that we want to send. So as of now, I need 2 only. So I'll specify as yes, and I'll send a true value. And over here, I'll specify it as no, and I'll give a false value. So now another field that I need is an email field. So over here, everything is fine. I'll add that, and at the end, I'll add my reCAPTCHA. Let's switch this up. Yeah. So now another interesting thing with XM Cloud Form is there are already validations that are being added on different fields. So now for reCAPTCHA and TNC checkboxes, it has already been present in our XM Cloud that we can't add these fields on previous pages. So only these fields, the TNC and reCAPTCHA, can only be added on the last page of a field. So even if I try to add my reCAPTCHA on my first page, it will give me a message that it should always be added on the last page of your form. So a lot of things have been pre-handled in XM Cloud Forms. So once your structure is ready, you can preview it, how it will look on different devices. So we have desktop, tablet, and mobile view. You can view how your form is looking on different devices. So I'll fill this up. I'll check how my flow is working. I can specify. So now another thing that I can add to my form is to have a logic. So now if I want a user who has clicked on yes as an option to subscribe to a newsletter, only those specific users should have the option of filling up their email ID. Rest of them, if they are selecting no as an option, email field should not be available. So how we can do that? So now we have a logic tab that are being added on my XM Cloud. I'll click on the logics tab. Over here, I will create my logic. So we have different groups or conditions that are available to us. So now we can select or specify the field on which I have to add the logic. So supposedly I want my subscribe field, if the value is equal to true, then I want my email field to be visible. So I'll show the field. And another thing I want is to be a compulsory field. So I'll make it a required field. So once my logic is created, you can add multiple logics on different fields. So if you want another set of logic, you will create an add logic and create another set of logic. So as of now, I want only this. I'll go to preview option. I'll check whether my logic is working or not. I'll give my full name over here. I'll give a feedback. So now, as you can see, my email field is not visible. So once I'll click on yes, I can see my email field and it has been marked as required. And if I select the no option, it will disappear. So as of now, I need it. So I'll fill up my data. I'll check the recaptcha and submit my form. So now it says that a webhook is required to submit a form. So as I discussed in the presentation also, you can't publish a form or you can't make it live for users to use it until unless you have a webhook attached. So I'll set up a webhook. I'll click on this. It will redirect me to the settings option where we have an option to choose a webhook. So now we have an option of managing webhook. We have a webhook dashboard also. So over here, you can see all the available webhooks that I have. So these are the webhooks that are already been available. I can select either one of them if it meets my requirement. If not, if I want to create a new webhook, I'll click on this create webhooks option. So we have different authentication types that are available. So depending upon your security and requirement, you can select your authentication type. So as of now, I'll select a no authentication. I'll give it a name. I'll give it a test SUG webhook. I'll give a URL. So now for having a URL, I'll be using the webhook.site. I'll copy this unique URL. I'll paste it in my URL option. I'll save it. So once I save it, my test SUG webhook is being added. Now, if I now go to my select a webhook option, I can see my test SUG webhook option over there. So I'll select that. I can test my webhook also. So I'll click on this. I'll fill up my details. I'll select no as of now. I should select yes only. I'll fill up my details. I'll submit my form. So now I can see what all payload that is being sent to my webhook. So I'll validate whether all fields are going as expected or not. And once everything is fine, I'll submit this. So as you can see, there is an webhook test successful. The message is appearing and it is saying that form has been submitted successfully. So now I'll go to my webhook.site and I can see a post of payload that is being received. So I can see all of my values that I've filled that is being received over here. So now my webhook is working fine. So another thing that we have in our settings option is to choose a submit action. So either we can choose a success message, whether we want to show a success message or we want to show a failure message if the webhook doesn't respond. So these things can be configured. Another method that we have is to redirect to a URL. So if I want that once my data is being submitted and upon successful submission, if I want to redirect to another page, I can select this redirect to a URL option and I can specify my URL over here. And if it fails, it will show the failure message. So all of these things can be easily configured. And over here also, you can style or customize your message, whatever message you want to show. So you can specify the colors also. So all of these things can be configured over here. Now, let's talk about this versions tab. So as we talked earlier in our presentation that we can create different version of our form. So now if I want to have another version of my current form, what I'll do is I'll click on this arrow option. I can save a version. So now once I'll do it, it will create another version for me and I can use that. Now let's talk about what is there in comment section. So over here in comments, we can add specific comments to a field. So that can be easily done. So if I want to add a comment, let's say in my full name field, like remove this, I will add my comment. I'll click on enter. So now I know what all resolutions that I need to do on this specific form. So once I resolve this, I can add my comment, say completed, and then I can mark it as resolved. So yeah, when you'll go to the resolved option, these comments will be there. So what all comments that you have resolved. Another thing that we have in our forms is to create custom items or custom layout. So supposedly, I want my full name field to be there on all my other 3 forms or whatever forms that I am creating. I know that my full name field is a common field. So rather than adding a field, rewriting the label, styling it, what I can do is I can save it as a custom item. So once you'll click on this button, you can save this as full name item and you'll save this. Upon saving this field will be available in your custom option. So full name item will be available. So now when you drag and drop this field, exactly the same labels, the same styling can be easily added and you can use it. So as of now, I don't need it, so I'll delete this. Another thing that you can do is to have custom layouts also. So you want supposedly full name and feedback field grouped together and being added on all my forms. So I'll group this up. The whole page I can group and I can give feedback layout and I'll save this. So I can see another layout with the name of feedback layout being added. So now I can easily drag and drop it on my other page and I have this available. So I don't need to create the structure again or add the fields again. This can be easily plugged in. So once you have checked the functionality, you're satisfied with how your form is looking, you have previewed it in different devices, you will activate your form. So how you can activate your form? There is an option of saving and activating. Another option that I can see over here is to save the template, to save the form as a template. So if you want your form to be available as a template later on, so you can save it for further uses so that you can reuse it as it is, or you can plug in on different pages and make changes in future. So I'll give it as feedback form and I'll save this. Now, in design option, we also have templates that are being pre-configured. So we have different templates that are being pre-configured. So now here you can see once I've saved it as a template, it is available in my template field. So feedback form is there. Now I have created other forms also. So those are also present over here. And there are few forms that Sitecore provides from their side that we can preview. And if we want exactly the same form, we can plug in that, or if you want to change it as per our requirement, we can use the same template also. So this can be done. So now I'll activate my form. I'll click on save and activate. Upon clicking on activate, you can see my form is available in my dashboard with an active status. I'll add a label to it. Say feedback form. Now, how you can plug in this form on your pages? So for that, you'll go to your pages editor. Just a second. Yeah, in the tools option, we have a pages editor. So over here, I can select the website. So if I want my XMC practice website where I want to add my form, I'll select that. I'll create a subpage. Keep it as feedback form. And I can select my form. So once I'll scroll down, in my form, I can see the feedback form. So my form is available. I can preview it. I can try filling my form. So I'll give it. I'll click on next. I'll not subscribe. I'll check the reCAPTCHA. I'll submit my form. Now my form has been successfully submitted. I'll check my webhook. I've got the request. So now I'll go to my editor's page. Over here, I have tested my form is working as expected. So now if I want this form to be available as a component, I want to style a page, I have to give a heading, image, and I have to style a proper page. So how you can do that? You can go and create your page in your component builder. So what I'll do is, I'll go to my components builder. So in my tools, there's an option of having a component created inside a component builder. I'll select that. So, okay. So I'll try to log in again. Okay, so now in my component builder, I can add a collection or I can simply add my component. So I'll click on this component option. I'll give the name as feedback form page. I'll save this. I'll click on start editing. Over here, my component builder will be available. I can select the part. I can add the element. Supposedly, I'll add a heading. I'll give it as feedback form. Please fill the below information. and then I'll add the element over here. I will add the components. So now there are components that are available. So whatever components that I want to add, I can add that. So as of now, I need to plug in my form, but I think this is for some different environment. So probably like how you can add is probably there will be an option of forms also. You can directly plug in your form, and this component will then be available for you to add on a page. So yeah, that's it from my side for the demo. I'll move to the slide only. So if there are any questions, we can take it up now. Hello.
I think, Nikita, we have a question on the chat box.
Okay. So there's one question. Webhooks are customized one like API. So Bharat, webhooks and API are two different concepts. Webhooks are basically like it's a URL a unique URL that we provide to transmit the data to any different touch point or any third party application. So basically it's a lightweight data transmitting protocol. You can say you can transmit the data that the user is entering on the form to any different third party application. So Manish, we can migrate our Sitecore forms to XM Cloud forms. So there are different documentations that are available. So there is no straightforward way, but that can be a possibility. You can specify the environment where you want your forms to be. So the same database can't be used, but the migration can be done easily. There are documents that are available for these steps. In real-time scenario, how can we use webhooks, for example, like booking forms? So
let's say webhooks, right? Whatever form data we are capturing or whatever form data user is entering, it will help us post the data into our webhook. Into our webhook. And once we have all those data, we can also perform custom actions that we want. Let's say you want to save your data into a database, or you want to trigger an email based on the data that you are receiving. You can use whatever data you are getting. So let's say if it's a booking form, a user is making some booking. Once you have all the data and you want his booking to be confirmed, you can save all the data in your database and redirect him to some page, or trigger an email to him that your booking data is confirmed. I'll share some URLs where you can create custom webhooks in .NET, and that will help you.
Anybody has any other questions? Okay. Okay. Thank you, Nikita and Shreyansh. It was a wonderful session. Like you have explained nuke corners of XM Cloud forms. It's pretty much helpful for who is planning to migrate XM Cloud and then existing XM Clouds. The Sitecore forms to be migrated to XM Cloud forms. So I think Nikita and Shreyansh is available in LinkedIn. If you have any questions regarding this, you can directly ping them on the LinkedIn. They will help us. And once again, thank you for sharing a session with us, SUGCBE. We'll looking forward another session with you. Yes, thank you. Thanks for the
Thank you,
session.
Vignesh. Thank you,
Have a good-
everyone.
Good evening, all.
Thank you, Vignesh. Thank you all.
Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye.